Hey guys, in this video we're going to be going over 3 unique ways that you can go about hiring a media buyer for your e-commerce business. So if you're scaling up your e-commerce stores, maybe you have a few stores or you just don't have enough time to manage ads yourself, hiring a media buyer is the next big step that you need to make. I've personally worked with a couple of media buyers over the past couple of years on both a salary and a freelance basis, and I've lost a lot of time and money on just bad talent who wasn't able to do what I expected them to do. But I've learned a lot from those experiences, and today I'm going to share 3 unique ways you can find good quality talent and actually perform to a high level on your team. With that being said guys, if you want to see more awesome e-commerce content like this, make sure you scroll down and subscribe to the channel because I share all the lessons I've learned over the past 5 years now in e-commerce for free to you guys. I do want to say that in order for you to use these 3 methods, you do need to know how to run Facebook ads or influencer ads yourself, and simply because it's just such a critical skill to master inside of your business. If you don't know how to run Facebook ads or influencer ads, you can easily get burned by someone who's an apparent expert who you're paying hundreds of dollars an hour to run ads for you, when in fact they're not doing a great job and they're simply just burning your money. And you probably wouldn't even question it because you think that they are pro, they know something special that you might not know, and for some reason your ads might not be doing good, but that's not their fault. When in fact there's nothing really special about Facebook ads. It's a pretty straightforward skill to learn once you actually get the hang of it. Personally for me, I had a good understanding of all the aspects in my business before I looked to outsource anyone in doing it. Anything from order fulfillment, customer service, media buying, video editing, all that type of stuff. I at least had a baseline understanding of how to do those tasks in my business before I hired someone else to do it. But your story could be different. You might not need to learn the skill and you could do very good just hiring someone else to do it for you. But honestly, if I was you, I would go ahead and invest in myself and learn how to run Facebook ads. So method number 1 that I use to recruit media buyers is by cold DMing viral influencer accounts on Instagram. Now I've never heard anyone talk about this before, so I like to think that I came up with it. But let me just get something clear before we get started. Learning how to run Facebook ads is not difficult. For example, let's say if you're just launching a campaign, you need to pick your initial interest. You can pretty much make a document explaining how to do that and train someone else to do it. So as long as you have an SOP that pretty much outlines exactly what you'll do, if let's say ads are 3 ROAS and then it tanks to 0.5 ROAS, you know exactly what to do because you lived the process. You can put it all in the document and someone else can execute that on your behalf. And if you think about it, who are the best people who understand the platform already that aren't necessarily running ads themselves? Well, that would be influencer accounts, because these guys can be running huge accounts or just accounts that have, a couple thousand followers that are going absolutely viral. They're making a bit of money off the side. Maybe they have a job, or maybe they're in school, they're pretty young, they aren't necessarily from a really expensive, high-paying country like the US or Europe. They might be from a third world country, but they're making money from Instagram and they know how the platform works and they're familiar with advertising. But if you present them an offer to run Facebook ads on your behalf, some of them will definitely be down to working with you, because simply it will take a couple of hours of their time every single day, which is already what they're spending on managing their or existing Instagram accounts, and all they need to do is execute on SOPs. And as long as they're able to understand kind of how the ads manager works, and they're probably already really tech savvy or smart people if they're hitting the explore page on Instagram in the first place, then they'll probably do a good job as a media buyer as long as you continuously train them up. So if these guys are hitting the explore page, they can't be idiots. They already have a good baseline understanding of how Instagram works, the platform. They probably run ads for other brands on their page themselves. So because they have that baseline understanding, you can guess that they would make pretty decent media buyers even if they weren't experts at it, because they understand how to execute XYZ process in order to get a certain result. So all we go ahead and do is just DM these guys and ask them, hey, do you want to work for us? And we give them an offer, and they're pretty capable of learning things very quickly. Like I said, they're very tech savvy, and first of all, there's a huge financial saving working with them because you might only pay them 500,000, 2K a month, whereas if you're hired in the US or locally, it might have cost you a couple $1,000s a month minimum in order to get a decent media buyer. But if you're hiring someone who doesn't know anything, but you can train them up, you're basically first of all creating someone who is a carbon copy of you, because they can learn your exact strategies and not come into it with their own philosophies, which are kind of messed up for some people. For example, some media buyers think that you need to run traffic campaigns and then launch with an add to cart conversion optimization, then initiate checkout and purchase, which is all a bunch of rubbish. You need to go for purchases straight away if you're not doing that. But as long as you train someone from scratch, they'll go ahead and do exactly what you tell them. You won't have to worry about someone trying to tell you how to run your own ads, because as long as you live the process, you know what works and you know what to expect. You'll for sure make a better recruit, a better hire, out of the person than if you were going into it completely blind and not knowing what to expect and how to do it yourself in the first place. So that's the first method. Don't pay these expensive freelancers who are charging you $100 an hour just to run Facebook ads for you and not get you any results. You're way better off investing that learning into run Facebook ads yourself or manage influencer ads, whatever platform it might be, and then training someone who's an influencer who runs meme pages that go viral because they understand the platform, like I said, and paying them, training them up to tell them how to run ads and manage ads themselves, and then getting them to do it. That's the best way to go about doing it. So make a script, go ahead and start cold DMing these influencers who go on the explore page all the time. And I'm referring to just meme pages or just general pages that have small followings but huge engagement. So these guys probably don't make a ton from ads, so they won't be disinterested. At the same time, they have some free time to actually spend working on the platform. And I've personally found some really good potential talent through this method. Okay, so method number 2 is Facebook groups. Now, I personally find one of my best media buyers through a Facebook group, and the reason why Facebook groups are kind of overlooked is maybe because it's not the traditional way of hiring media buyers. But what you can do, or I really recommend, is go ahead and join a bunch of these Facebook groups about e-commerce, Shopify, anything marketing related. For example, Alex Fetov's Facebook group, I think it's called Facebook Rockstars. It has a couple thousand people in it, and there's always loads of people that are posting questions in there. They're just curious to learn. They're trying to figure the Shopify game out for themselves. They just can't do it. Maybe they're from a third world country, or they just don't understand how to make it work. They spend a lot of money, they've invested a lot in their education. There are some people who are just really eager to make it work, but they can't make it work. And there's also some people who just prefer to work under other people. So what I would personally do is just keep an eye out. Like, there's always people lurking in the comment section, always asking questions, always trying to figure stuff out, but they can't do it themselves. If you see someone who's constantly asking questions, but they can't make it happen, then maybe there's some good potential there. I mean, loads of times people just quit after a couple of weeks of making it work, and those are the people you don't want to track because they simply will quit if they can't do a good job for you. But if you find someone who's just really eager, and there's always someone out there and they want to work for someone, and they want to make it work somehow but they can't do it on themselves, then all you need to do is just fill them in on some of your secrets and your strategies, train them up on your processes, tell them how to manage your ads, and you've got yourself a great media buyer. Okay, and method number 3 of recruiting a media buyer is Upwork. Now, I know I did just say that paying someone hundreds of dollars an hour to run Facebook ads for you, only for them to not give you any great results, is not a good idea. But personally, I found my first ever media buyer through Upwork. Maybe I did get a bit lucky, but there are some things you can do to actually filter down the people that you are approaching in the first place and actually finding a potentially great media buyer. So there are 2 types of people on Upwork. There are the people who charge $100 an hour, $75 an hour, just insane amounts to run ads for you. And I don't want to generalize because some of these people might be great at what they do, but most of them won't give you above average results. They might give you average results, maybe a little bit above average, but nothing great. And remember, everyone has their own incentives and motives. So if someone's getting paid by the hour, they're obviously going to spend as long as possible just to do your task, which, if it takes 1 hour a day to manage your ads, they might spend 3 hours just to bill you more. You have to be careful about that because everyone has their own intentions. Going to these people who charge hundreds of dollars an hour isn't the best thing you can do. In my opinion, they are a no-go because you're much better off learning how to run ads yourself and just experimenting. Even if you're wasting money yourself, you'll learn more than paying these guys that amount of money per hour. But the second group of people are usually the people who charge $4 to $10 an hour, and according to their CV, they can do absolutely everything. They can do TikTok ads, creatives, they can manage Facebook ads, they can manage influencers, they can do lead gen, all that type of stuff. And these people probably can't do any of that, at least to a high level, and you also want to avoid this group of people completely. What I did, and what I certainly suggest you to do, is go ahead and look in the middle. So anywhere from $10 to $30 an hour. But more than the price that you pay, what's important is that the person that you hire is eager to learn. They don't necessarily need to know how to run ads themselves initially, but as long as they have some sort of baseline understanding, like I explained before. For example, the person that I hired, they weren't familiar with influencer ads, which is what we were doing. They had some sort of knowledge of Facebook ads and how the platforms work. We managed to train them up on all the bits that they were missing, and they became pretty great at executing influencer ads. So what you really want to do is just find someone who's eager, and you can pretty much tell when you get on a phone call with someone and you have an interview with them. You can tell if they're eager to learn. They don't claim to know it all. They're willing to learn and open to adopting your strategies as well, rather than implementing their own existing strategies. And again, the reason why you want them to adopt your strategies instead of you adopting their strategies is because anyone could tell you some nonsense and you would believe it because you don't know what you're doing. They could easily be burning money on your behalf and you would be thinking it's okay, or you're gathering data, or whatever nonsense they might be saying, which is never the case. If you're not getting direct ROI from your ads, they're probably not doing a good job and you should probably hire someone else or figure it out yourself. So there we have it, guys, those are my 3 unique-ish ways of hiring a media buyer. Again, the media buyers that have worked with me for the longest periods of time and done the best for me have always been the ones that I've trained from pretty much scratch. As long as they had the baseline understanding of ads and were mentally capable of actually executing on my behalf, they pretty much did a great job. So really, being a media buyer isn't a complicated task to teach. As long as the person knows how to operate the ads manager and is tech savvy, and you create clear Loom videos or training videos and SOPs documenting exactly what you would do given XYZ situation, then they can become a pretty great media buyer. Even if you just give it 30 days, just try it for 30 days. You yourself go ahead and record what you do inside of the ads manager in terms of optimization, scaling, new campaign creation, etc. Record what you do, and personally we put everything inside of Notion. It's just a really nice platform where you can put all your training videos and organize everything. Obviously say voiceovers as you go ahead and edit your ads, and just send that to someone who doesn't know anything about ads but at least they're tech savvy. Then they can pretty much easily learn exactly what to do, when to do it, and you might just find yourself another great media buyer. You can create a carbon copy of yourself that pretty much does exactly what you would execute if you were running ads yourself, if you teach them exactly how to do and follow your strategies. But again, your situation might be different. You might be one of the very few people who actually finds better success in actually not learning how to run ads and learn that skill themselves, and you might find success in hiring someone and just trusting them blindly. But honestly, I think for 90% of us, you're much better off learning the skill and then outsourcing. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope you did find this video helpful. If you do have any questions, feel free to drop it down in the comment section down below and I'll get back to you, or you can hit me up on Instagram. I'll put my hand over here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see more awesome e-commerce related content like this that I've learned over the past 5 years now. And with that being said, guys, I will see you on the next one.
Entrepreneur gang, yeah, yeah. Entrepreneur gang, yeah, yeah. Entrepreneur gang. This is for my entrepreneur gang.